So, China. China. This time, Winnie the Pooh has gotten his hands on his little grubby honeypot, and this time, this honeypot is Singapore because the Washington Post recently released a post where they allege that two commentators on our newspaper, 联合早报, have ties to the CCP, and people are wondering why that is so. Apparently, they are only credited on the panel. Their title is only China Affairs commentators. So they don't disclose that they have any ties to the CCP. So I guess some people see that as a problem. Not only that, one of them directs the online propaganda and comment division, and the other is part of the CCP committee at Huzhou College, wherever that is. Who knows?
Is it Huzhou?
Yeah. Wherever the hell that is. So yeah.
See, here's the thing about not even just this, but if you zoom out of it, here's the problem. Is that the setting is the context is that this newspaper, Lianhe, is one of the so few in the world that China allows to be published in China.
Correct.
To be sold there. So there's a value that this paper holds, and the people at the paper know this. SPH knows this. They know that this is one paper for two countries. And so they know that whatever they want to sell, whatever they want to print, is one paper, two countries. They have to sell it in a way.
That's the official policy, by the way. Yeah, they have this one paper, two countries bullshit.
Every other paper in the world,
yeah,
printed and sold, and they talk about stuff that matters to one place. This paper, on the other hand, because of the special relationship, the special place it occupies, is allowed to be printed in China, is allowed to be sold in China. So it's one paper that serves two people. But along with that, it's one paper that's subject to censorship from two very censorship-heavy regimes. It's stuck between a rock and an even bigger rock. It's not on a hard place. It's just two very big rocks.
Okay.
And it's two rocks that want to scratch away at the paper and make sure that there's no editorial independence. It's you toe the line, but now you toe two lines, and then both the lines are like really far back and they are really far right, and those are the lines that have to be towed. And so Lianhe's editors and Lianhe's journalists are in a tough spot.
They are.
Yeah.
But
like their journals themselves have said before that I'm sure it's under condition. They've been anonymous about it, but they have said that the amount of censorship they've had to do, like self-censorship and editorial censorship, is harder. It's worse than in most other papers, because the leadership of the newspaper prioritize and they put a lot of value on this access to China, because they know nobody else gets access to such a difficult to enter.
They're money grubbing. That's what happens when you let like purely economics dictate your actions. Because here's the issue, right? Yes, you have the moment you have China trying to prohibit the flow of information to your audience. What happens to stuff when you report on Hong Kong protests? What happens to stuff when you report on the rights abuses in Xinjiang, which is what the Washington Post was saying, that they are reporting it in the way that is not the truth, or rather they're leaving out facts or trying to twist it in the narrative in a way that will get it passed through China. And they cite the Hong Kong protests as well as the balloon incident recently that happened with the one where they flew the balloon. Well, rather a balloon was near the US borders and it got shot down, and I think they took a bit of a more pro-China stance on that. So, but when your economic, like, such a huge economic base is in China, you are definitely writing to it with that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. In their audience in Singapore, their readership in Singapore in 2020 was like less than 150,000 people.
Yeah.
In China, it's 4 million people buying the paper.
Exactly.
Who are you going to write for? Are you going to write for the Singaporean
100%?
The miniature crowd? Not even a quarter of a million, 150,000.
Yeah. So
or are you going to appeal to a larger? I don't blame you for for hawking your goods to where you know your audience is,
Yeah.
to where the demand is. But just be honest about it. That is what you're doing.
Yeah, no, okay. Honestly, it's fine. I think it's fine
Yeah.
if they want to include like China, like whatever. Just you have to disclose where these people are coming from, and if your market is just China, just rename your fucking newspaper to 联合 CCP 早报.
I think that is the crux of the matter, is that no one's denying and no one's under any delusions that this paper is written for Singaporeans by Singaporeans to promote the Singaporean POV in the Mandarin format. No, no, no. That's not the whole point. It's not a
Yeah,
translation of the Straits Times.
yeah.
It's a Chinese paper based on China's viewpoints for a China audience, and a token Singaporean like reading it for every. It's
At
not even one in every 10. It's even less
at,
than that.
at this point, it does seem like that because why? Who else are you writing for if not for the largest viewer base ever, right?
And here's the to be fair to them, there was a period in time when they tried to write about news objectively. The last time that happened was in
In
The Hong Kong riot.
1980s.
Okay, yes, you sounds like that. But if you're going to be factual, they three times they got in trouble
Yeah.
with the CCP. It
Yes.
was in 09, it was in 2017, and then the latest was because of Hong
Mhm.
Kong. 2019, three times they got blocked in China. Three times they paid the price. They definitely must have seen the bottom lines get hit. You immediately lose 4 million readers, 3 million viewers, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna not do that again. And that's why,
Yeah.
you completely toe their line now.
Yeah.
And that's why you have literal party members writing op-eds.
The official stance is that they want to keep their commenters anonymous or some or whatever title they want to use because of their, like, sometimes it's difficult to report news if they're showing their titles or it's sensitive or something like that. But I feel like when you have stakes in another country's official party lines, you have to disclose that. Like you can't be like a American senator and commenting on shit and not and pose as like, oh, I'm just a guy in the Midwest with my random opinion. You can't. You have to disclose that you have official governmental positions. You have influence, and that really really affects the way that you would push out your news. I mean, this is simple like history, PEL, looking at your source kind of like shit that everyone should know.
Yeah. A very long time ago, you wouldn't have cared about the Chinese opinion. You would rather be like, do I throw in my lot with the Americans or do I throw in my lot with the Russians? It's just that over the years things have changed, and now for Singapore, especially given our place, our geographical location in the world, China is the two competing interests that we are dealing with. So, I mean, there are people smarter than us. There are people who are more trained than us, who have to figure out a way to make sure our media doesn't offend either side.
Yeah.
But where and what is our place as a reader, as a citizen, as someone who cares about a free society, that you and me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is our line? What's our personal line? Am I okay with picking up a local paper, even if I don't understand the language, and knowing that someone on that op-ed is a literal elected member of another country's, like, if I make it simpler, would I be okay with Mahathir writing an op-ed in Straits Times talking about race, relations and other issues like that? Would I be okay with that? You don't even need to like go as far as China. It's like literally like next door. Is that okay? No.
And him writing as your next door like Malaysian average guy, not as Mahathir. That's the problem.
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
The paper just okay, because if you say someone like Mahathir, it's a recognizable name. But if you say a Chinese MP's name, chances are I won't know who that is.
Yeah.
To me, that's just someone from China who's sharing their opinion, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then, the important part being their job.
Yeah, exactly.
is actual professors who work in, I don't know what, propaganda departments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then it changes things. Are they being objective? Are they just doing it because that's the party line? Is they're just ideologically aligned with what they're saying? are they getting paid by the party? Which they are. They're getting paid by the party to spread the good word. And this is just an extension of the one China, the one belt one road, that initiative, right? This is just
I mean, to me, it doesn't come as really a surprise, but to hear that they actually find people,
yeah.
it's kind of unnerving because it makes you think like, how much further can they push, the agenda, right? And
Mm.
you really don't want to see like, uh, this kind of like opaque, reporting in the media, because it's not great for citizens, not great for consumers, and it's not transparent. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, Singapore's journalistic standards are not great. Insert graphic of SPH's ranking.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
what are we now? 160,
150,
164.
160. I really low.
Actual
We are
like,
friends with like Sudanese newspapers. Like
yeah,
that's where we are. Just not great. Then anything that you say can and will be used against you.
yeah,
And so most journalists don't want to say anything.
yeah.
Uh, so this is just to me, the way I see it is this is just a further degeneration of that standard, and Taobao are just the most gone of the lot. They just
Yeah,
the most like they are the base. Like you
yeah,
can't get any lower than them.
yeah.
Um,
It's,
so it's expected.
kind of, in that sense. Yeah. Well, I
It is what it
mean,
is.
they are in no easy position as well.
Yeah.
You
If you want to
you
keep feeding your journalists, if you want to keep giving them a salary, you want them to stay alive. Basically, you're gonna have to. When the teat is that big, you're gonna line up to suckle on it. The CCP teats I don't blame them for keep staying afloat
yeah,
through the 4 million Chinese readers. Because it's not like if Taobao becomes a perfect middle, like straight shooting, we only report the facts with no bias paper.
yeah,
Are 4 million Singaporeans gonna read it? No.
yeah.
Uh, you're not gonna find that audience. So if you're gonna be a propaganda shit rag to make some money and feed your journalists, then so be it.
But at
They
least
need a
tell
job.
us.
But just be honest about it. But yeah, you got to
But
do
at
what you
least
got to
tell
do to
us.
survive. Yeah, but tell us.
Yeah. I think that's the
Yeah.
bottom. Is let us know you're selling out when you sell out.
Yeah.
It's the least you could do to.
Yeah.
Uh,
Especially with how strong the WhatsApp brainwashing is. Like there are so many
oh
stories
yeah.
of people talking about, oh yeah, my parents they read this on WhatsApp and they're like, my dad is like the most CCP man I've ever met. He's literally always talking about how China is our homeland, and like it's
Hmm.
like they're already there. They're already brainwashed as hell. Like you can't save them. You can't.
Yeah.
There's no level of reasoning that's gonna enter a 65-year-old's head to tell him, hey, all your life you've been a bit wrong. This is the truth. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
They are in that delusion.
But that's what the papers are for, right? You
Yeah,
you read it on the newspaper, like you
yeah,
either feed your existing viewpoints or you get challenged and then you slowly ask yourself, wait, hey, what the fuck
yeah,
is going on here, right?
yeah,
And if we keep feeding them the same thing, it reinforces that thinking that, yeah,
yeah,
the West is fucking up the Chinese balloons in the sky.
yeah.
I don't like those balloons, right? Oh, like, yeah, you
and
feed that, yeah,
and it going from WhatsApp or like some random YouTube channels to Taobao legitimizes the whole thing, because people are gonna come up with conspiracy theories and they're gonna share them on WhatsApp. They're gonna share them on
yeah,
random YouTube channels. But when those get backed up with what the paper also prints, regardless if it's an op-ed or not, you're gonna be like, I read it in the papers. It must be true, because that's what you've grown up your whole life to be. That the news is factual. The news is unbiased. The news is what it is, and they are just always gonna look at Taobao as the. And I think that's what China has bought with Taobao, is that they have bought legitimacy for their POVs.
yeah.
So whatever they print becomes the truth.
Okay, well, I think that's it. Godspeed West Taiwan, and I think we'll end it here.
Yeah, we'll catch you for when the Indian papers Stop it.
What the fuck? Okay.